PK in the universe, and I am back again with another video. And today I wanted to discuss the topic of the complete Evercade collection. What does it really mean to have a complete Evercade collection? As in the cartridges. I'm not talking about the consoles, that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, I want to discuss this complete Evercade collection. I mean, what will it look like? I think for a lot of future Evercade collectors, it's going to be much harder to complete a set because of a lot of varying factors. First up, let's talk about, we have 10 legacy carts now, since the Atari games have joined the Evercade Legacy Collection. Now, contrary to popular belief, I think a lot of these games are easy to obtain for the most part for an affordable price because there are still a lot of retailers who still currently have stock. Now, a lot of those retailers are charging $30 for that, so it's not like they have very, very little. I mean, they apparently have enough, but enough to charge $30. Now, there is one exception to the rule of the 10 legacy carts, and that is the Techos Collection. That is one, there is straight up no inventory anywhere hardly. I feel like they didn't make maybe enough of those, and there's enough people that have them that just are not going to let them go. So that's why you see that one going for such high prices. Everywhere from $75 to well over $100, you see Techos 1 going for that kind of money. And the reason, again, is because there's just so many people who want it and so many people who are not going to give it up. So, yeah. So I think that's a big factor. Something, too, that maybe not a lot of people talk about, variants. The variants such as, for example, some Evercade carts have a Peggy rating. Some do not have a Peggy rating. Now, for the hardcore completionist, the person who's incredibly OCD, they might be like, all mine have to have the Peggy rating, or all mine have to have no Peggy rating. For the most part, I think most people don't care. I really don't. Like, my collection is a mixture of some that have a Peggy rating and some that don't. It does not really matter to me, honestly. But I can imagine future collectors of Evercade being like, oh, I want to have all Peggy ratings or no Peggy ratings. I could see that happening, because that's how collecting goes. I mean, there's some people, who collect NES games and are like, oh, I got to have the 5-screw version, you know what I mean? Or I have to have this or that. And then another elephant in the room now is that Evercade's first single cart, Full Void, is going to have a special edition. There's going to be a special edition of Full Void. And not only is it going to have a different color case, but the cartridge itself will be blue. Now, here's the other thing. Now, at first, when this was first announced, I assumed that this was going to be a Funstock exclusive. That's what I assumed. I might have been wrong about that. And they sold out at Funstock, completely sold out. And I think at some point they were on Amazon UK. I don't know that for sure, because I haven't really looked too closely at that. But the interesting part is the special edition is available currently at Video Games Plus for pre-order. Video Games Plus up in Canada. And it's an open pre-order from what I can tell, and that so anybody who wants to get it before it comes out can still pre-order that. Now, I would suspect that will not have a Peggy rating because all the Evercade cartridges I've ever ordered from VGP have always had no Peggy rating. So that also brings up a question. Will the one with the Peggy rating be more rare, less common? I really don't know, because I don't know how many of those were sold. I don't know what's going to be sold from VGP. So there's a lot of unknowns here. There is a lot of unknowns about what it will be like for people who are collecting for Evercade down the road. I feel like, is this really a problem in 2023? I mean, the Techos Collection's a problem, but I don't know. I don't know yet. It's going to be hard to say. And again, some people, their vision and interpretation of what a complete collection looks like is going to be different from person to person. A couple of guys who commented on my last video actually mentioned that they had ordered the standard edition of Full Void. So maybe to them, that's a complete collection. But to some people, they would be like, oh, you got to have that. You're going to have those kind of conversations down the road of what it looks like to have a really complete collection. Look at the complete NES collection. Most people would say you need to have stadium events to have a complete collection, in spite of the fact that stadium events and world-class track meet are pretty much the same game, except the title screen and the cover art and stuff like that. Other than that, they're pretty much the same game. It's not like you have a radically different game. But again, you know, the prestige of having a complete NES collection typically entails having stadium events. You know, maybe not necessarily the Nintendo World Championships. Some people are like, no, you don't have to have those because they were never sold at retail. But stadium events is always a big deal. So maybe Full Void might very well become the stadium events. At least that special edition could become the stadium events of Evercade carts. But then again, we might have more special editions down the road. So you never know. Anyways, those are my thoughts on what's a complete Evercade collection look like, you know, and the things that we're going to have to talk about maybe down the road as far as Evercade collectors. Like I've said before, I'm not going for a complete set, but I would never close the door on it necessarily, but also I'd never want to buy the Worms collection. I've talked about that numerous times. Maybe someday somebody will convince me why I need the Worms collection, but anyways, what are your guys' thoughts? Are you going for a complete collection, and what does that complete collection look like for you? Comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay awesome in this universe. Thanks. Bye.